everywhere. GBS.
Broadcasting live from Good News Television, Nairobi. Good evening. Today, Monday, the 27th of February, 2023. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Maureen Chebet. And together, we'll be serving you with the leading news of the hour. And tonight, we'll be talking about matters education. And as many do say, education is the backbone of each country's economy. It is not an issue that affects individuals, but it is an issue that affects each and everyone. And of course, do engage us through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. And I'll be joined by one education analyst to just go through this topic as well. But first, let us take a look at stories making headlines. President William Ruto has urged Kenyans to avoid divisive and tribal politics while promising a slew of benefits to Coast residents. Ruto and his deputy, Rigathi Gachagua, warned Coast Azimio politicians, including Lamu East Member of Parliament Rueda Mohammed of Kanu, to collaborate with the Kenya Kwanza for development. Ruto said it was pointless for leaders to engage in divisive and tribalism politics at the expense of development during a Thanksgiving ceremony yesterday at Muungano grounds in Mpeketoni, Lamu County. President Ruto said national and county developments would pool funds to develop aggregated industrial parks for the agricultural produce storage and value addition, as well as eliminate brokers and cartels who have denied farmers and fishermen good returns in the past. Mombasa, Kilifi, Tana River, Taita Taveta, Lamu and Kwale will contribute 100 million Kenya shillings to the industrial park program in the first phase, and the national government matching that amount.
Ya fujo, mheshimiwa wachana nao. Unajua wale chua hata wakapiga kelele vipi, ng'ombe atakunywa maji. Na wao wa Kenya si vipofu. Wanakuona wewe, wanamuona makamu wa rais, wanaona mawaziri wako, wewe hupumziki. Juzi tulikuwa pamoja kule sehemu za Dongo Kundu na Liwatoni. Leo uko Lamu, jana najua ulikuwa na maprogram. Kwa hivyo hawa wananchi si vipofu.
Hawa watu ya maandamano, hawa Sanballat na Tobias. Si mhubiri amemaliza maneno? Ati wanapiga kelele ati uchumi ni mbaya. Huyu mzee ya maandamano alichanganya rais wetu Uhuru Kenyatta. Akamkoroga, akachukua milioni 200 akaweka kwa BBI, ikapotea. Ilipotea, haikupotea. Akamchanganya, akapanga Kenya, pesa ya Kenya 900 billion wakaweka kwa project ya Azimio, kuhonga watu, kuhonga machifu, ikapotea. Sasa akisema uchumi ni mbaya, mwenye kuharibu uchumi ni nani? Ni nani aliharibu uchumi wa Kenya? Na tunasema huyu mzee ya maandamano, sisi na nyinyi tumemsamehea mambo mingi. Kungoa leri tumsamehe, si ndio? Kuharibu serikali ya Moi, kujaribu kubidua tumsamehe, si ndio? Mambo ya kusubua Mwai Kibaki tumsamehe.
Tumeketi chini tukakubaliana ya kwamba kila county watatoa shilingi milioni 100 na serikali ya kitaifa itatoa shilingi milioni 100. Tumeweka karibu bilioni 10 kuhakikisha ya kwamba tunaondoa brokers na cartels wale wanasumbua wakulima wetu. Kama ni wakulima wa Biksa vile mumesema, wakulima wa Simsim, Cashew nut, Korosho, yale wakulima wote ambao mnasumbuliwa na hawa mabrokers, wale wa watermelon, watu wanakuja hapa wanasumbua nyinyi, wananunua kwa bei ya chini, wanaenda kuuza bei mahali pengine. Sasa tuko na jawabu ya hawa mabrokers na makatela. Tumekubaliana na huyu Isa Timami, tunaweka hapa Industrial and Aggregation Industrial Park ambaye mtatumia kukusanya mazao yenu yote. Tutawasaidia pale na cold rooms, mahali mnaweza kuweka store, mnaweza kungojea, mnaweza kupanga biashara yenu. wale watu wanunuzi wakikuja, kama hawana pesa ya kutosha ile mazao yenu, mnawaambia mnaweza kurudi kesho, tutawawekea kwa fridge, mrudi kesho mkiwa na pesa ya kutosha.
In Kenya, women and girls account for 50.5% of the total population. Despite this, they are socio-economically disadvantaged in employment, ownership of enterprises, political representation, and human capital development. Speaking when she officially opened the Women's Economic Forum Kenya 2023 in Nairobi today, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Gender and Affirmative Action, Honorable Aisha Jumwa, urged women to utilize technology to enhance their business activities, adding that the government has put various measures to promote inclusive growth. Let's take a look.
5-year average, that is 2015 to 2019, shows that women account for 22% of jobs in the industrial sector, compared to agriculture 34% and services 39%. These statistics show that women benefit less from national wealth created through the industrial sector, which is usually characterized by high productivity and higher incomes compared to agriculture and services sectors. In her speech when she officially opened the Women's Economic Forum Kenya 2023 in Nairobi on Monday, the Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Gender and Affirmative Action, Honorable Aisha Jumwa, urged women to utilize tech to enhance their business activities.
The ministry responsible for ICT has also established ICT hubs in almost all constituencies in the counties to promote digital trading. Women are urged to utilize various digital platforms to enhance their business activities.
We know that the economy has faced significant challenges, the devastating impact of COVID pandemic measures, as well as the debt burden. Both men and women have been affected negatively, but women continue to be disproportionately impacted, making it essential that we focus on empowering women. And I'm saying this so that the boy child doesn't cry when we are talking about women's empowerment, that we are leaving the boy child behind. We're saying that it is essential that we focus on empowering women to play a more active role in Kenya's economy.
According to the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics Economic Survey 2019 figures, women are underrepresented in wage employment, comprising slightly above a third, that is 37% compared to agriculture and services in the formal economy. On her part, CS Jumwa added that the government has put various measures to promote inclusive growth and enhance women participation in the labor market.
The government has put in place various measures to promote inclusive growth and enhance women participation in labor market and enterprise. First, to promote women in micro and small enterprises, the government has allocated 50% of the 50 billion Hustler Fund to women-owned enterprises. Further, we have Affirmative Action Fund, which include Uwezo Funds, the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, Youth Enterprise Fund, the Micro and Small Enterprise Authority, and Women Enterprise Fund. We are currently remodeling Women Enterprise Fund to provide a digital platform with short-term credit and innovative products.
Kenyans recently elected a new government, and this is an important milestone for women and women businesses. Still, we know women are grossly underestimated in the political system, and without them there, they are unable to support Kenya's economic growth and the policies required to enable full participation of women in Kenya's economy.
In Kenya, women and girls account for 50.5% of the total population. Despite this, they are socio-economically disadvantaged in employment, ownership of enterprises, political representation, and human capital development. Women's participation in the economy is a key area of concern, given the many challenges they face. The Women's Economic Forum Kenya is an initiative of the Community Advocacy and Awareness Trust, which originated from the need to create a national platform to engage in high-level dialogues on the women's economic empowerment in Kenya. Hilary Kabila, GBS News.
And now moving forward, female teachers in the country are set to benefit 3 shared services launched on the 25th of February by the Kenya Women Teachers Association, KEWOTA. KEWOTA teachers now have the opportunity to conduct lessons on digital devices, not journals or textbooks like before. Kenya Women Teachers Association Chief Executive Officer Benta Opande says the move will enable the teacher to access more than 144 textbooks containing all the approved curriculum designs and contents for the entire basic education. Members of KEWOTA can now access loan facilities, laptops, and accidents medical insurance cover. The move is aimed at raising standards for women teachers in order to have equal opportunities in society. Here are the details. Female teachers now have an easy chance to access digital services, including their payslips, teaching content, and filing tax returns, thanks to a new laptop project launched on the 25th of February. The laptops program is part of the 3 other products targeting female teachers, including personal accident cover and soft loans under the Two-in-One Dada initiative.
When you see me limping, it is because of the number of books that I carried going to class and class, moving from one class.
KEWOTA Chief Executive Officer Benta Opande said the laptops will have curriculum designs from nursery to secondary schools and will have some of 104 digitalized books that members will use to teach. Laptops will also have a solar port where a teacher will be able to recharge using solar energy. The teachers who need to be KEWOTA members will be viable to access laptop loans, which will be payable in 36 months. Opande said teachers will be allowed to use the contents in the laptops for the next 3 years free of charge. Non-members will, however, be able to access the content at 10,000 Kenya shillings, while learners can register and access the same information at 3,000 Kenya shillings.
We have negotiated this for our members. The minute you become a member, you can access it. But you must have a TSC number. And because of that, not just anybody can access these laptops.
Besides laptops, KEWOTA has also rolled out elaborate financial literacy programs for its members in order to enhance financial stability and independence among female teachers. Members of KEWOTA can now access loan facilities and accidents medical insurance cover that is not catered for by the government. The move is aimed at raising the standards of women teachers in order to have equal opportunities in the society.
And just to bring back the dignity back the teacher, the third product, which has already been consumed today actually, is a personal accident cover. And the personal accident cover is so important to us because though teachers have an insurance, they do not get covered when they get accidents.
Kenya was first joining the buzz to integrate information and communication technology in education by empowering learners and teachers in schools, a cause that had taken center stage in many countries. The initial phase targeted about 1.1 million pupils in standard 1 in all 23,000 primary schools.
Asking the current government to revisit the laptop project for kids or for students in school. Because if I have a laptop and the child has a laptop, learning is so sweet.
Beatrice Njeri, GBS News. Once again, thank you for joining this live broadcast, and that ushers us to our topic tonight where we'll be dealing with matters education. We'll be talking about the junior secondary school allocation of teachers. We'll also be talking about the universities and, of course, the idea to have the universities privatized. And I am joined by one education analyst and a teacher as well, Madam Wilkista Mwiruri, online as well, and she's going to be joining us virtually. And of course, do remember to engage us through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. Madam Wilkista, if you can hear me, good evening, and how are you?
Good evening, madam, and I'm fine. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us as well, and it is always a pleasure to have you joining us. And being a teacher yourself, and of course, we did see the previous story about the Kenya Women Teachers Association, and they did talk about the need, the reason why they made this was to equalize opportunities for female teachers. Maybe if you are a member of the KEWOTA, maybe you can tell us your experience, and if you're not, maybe your observation, and then do tell us whether from where you sit right now, do women teachers have equal opportunities in the society?
Well, thank you so much. I'm actually a member of the Kenya Women Teachers Association, and I'm also the county coordinator for Kirinyaga County. And I think it is a very good move. Yesterday, I was in the meeting, and we were able to launch the laptop project. This is a partnership between the KEWOTA and the government of Estonia. The Estonian government is one of the country, Estonia as a country is one of the country that is digitalized, fully digitalized. It's actually a paperless country, and there is a lot that we can borrow from there. If you look clearly at the event, the ambassador for Estonia is the one who was the chief guest, and she was interested in partnering with the women teachers because they know, or she knows, what the impact that the women teachers can bring to the country. On the issue of the digitalization and the issue of laptops, I think it is an issue that is long overdue. You remember when we had the Corona break, we closed the schools, and I think it should not have happened that way if we were properly prepared. And I think going forward, you'll find that those laptops, they are fitted, or they have a software with all the textbooks that have been approved by KICD from nursery, the ECD, up to Form 4. And I think the teachers can now use it to enhance the teaching. They can also use it to reach out to many people. And the issue of even the teacher absenteeism and the teacher missing lessons and all that will not arise, because now you can use the platform to reach even to those students, or even teach when you are not physically present. I think it's a very good move. And I think the Kenya women teachers being fronted by the CEO, I think this is a very good move. And you will feel, the country will actually feel the impact of that digitalization of our education system.
Thank you so much. And it's really amazing to know that you did attend the forum as well, because the CEO of the KEWOTA did talk about the digital shift, and it took us way back when the previous regime had talked about bringing laptops for the children, for of course the learners, and now the teachers that are bringing in the laptops, they did talk about how conducive that would be. Now, from where you sit, can you just paint a picture for us of in the event of the teacher having the laptops and the learners being able to access those iPads or the devices that need to learn? What impact will that have precisely?
The impact will be bigger, and it will be felt across the board. The teachers now will not have, in those instances, for example, where we are having fewer textbooks, I think the issue will not now arise. You see, you can use that platform, or the digital platform, the laptop itself. You have the notes, then you project even to the learners, and the learners can even see diagrams. There are even those simulations, those simulations of diagrams and all that, and learning will become interesting. In a topic, in a subject like geography, for example, we teach things that are so abstract. You will find that you are talking about the zoogens and the Yadans. Those are the desert features and all that. But actually, us, even the teachers, we have never seen them. But you'll see that there's a lot of simulation, and even those the content itself in those laptops have the photos of those gadgets and all those items that we normally teach. And I think it will also have a lasting impression on the learner who we are targeting. I think all said and done, I think the country, we shall roll out the program, or we have already started rolling out the program, and we shall be able to reach to so many of our teachers, and including even our men. It's not a women affair only. It's only that we started with the women because it is a welfare association, but we are going to reach out to even the men so that we can have that digital learning taking place. You remember in one of our CBC, one of the core competencies that we are talking about is digital literacy. But we cannot do digital literacy if we don't really have the gadgets. So it is, we have started, and I believe even more partners will come on board, and I think we shall roll out the program both for the learner and even for the teachers.
Thank you so much. And of course, you watching us, do make sure to tell us what are your thoughts on the same, on the proposition of having the shift to digitalization in matters of education, from journals, textbooks to, of course, laptops and of course, iPads and matters technology as well. Our SMS line is 21144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. Now back to you, Madam Kista. That was not the only thing that the event did talk about. They did also address the issue of having teachers have cover or medical cover on accidents. That was, they did mention that that was not catered for by the government. Tell us more about it for us who do not understand.
All right. I think by now you are aware that the teachers have a medical cover, but this medical cover does not cover accidents. So when you have an accident, whatever kind of an accident, from a vehicle, even when you fall or maybe a motorbike accident, you will not be catered for by the medical scheme. We have two medical schemes, one that is offered by MALC and the other one that is the NHIF. And you will find that both of them do not cover accident victims. And most of our teachers, actually, they have even been incapacitated because of those accidents. And we felt that it was a gap that needed to be addressed. So that is why we introduced that cover. And we are in partnership with Direct Line Insurance. And the cover is so simple. We have different amounts that you pay so that you can be covered. For example, once you pay 1,000 shillings for the whole year, you are able to be reimbursed, or the cover, the policy will be able to pay you 150,000 shillings in case you have an accident. Then, in case you also die, there are people who also die in the accident. I'm sure you've seen them. Then your family will be given 20,000. If you are incapacitated, there is still an amount, but you can choose the cover that you want, ranging from 1,000 to 7,500. The highest is 7,500. I think this is a very good initiative, and it will also cater. It will also cater for our teachers who have been incapacitated, those who die out of accidents and all that. It is a gap that we are trying to fill.
Yes, thank you very much. And of course, for those who did not understand, you have understood what the cover is for that is not catered by the government. That is the accident cover. They do have a medical cover, however, but the accident cover now has been, of course, they have come to, the Kewota has come to aid in that as well. And Madam Kisa, they did also talk about the empowerment of teachers financially, where they're going to be offering, of course, simple loans as well. Now, in terms of empowering Kenya Women Teachers Association, are we at a place where we can say that Kenyan Women Association has been fully empowered? Women teachers.
I think the Kenyan woman has not been fully empowered. And you know, nobody can really empower you. Sometimes you've got to take the initiative and empower yourself. You will realize that if the teachers, the lawyers, the medical doctors, and all that, as the women are not covered, you can imagine now, if they're not empowered, you can imagine now what a rural woman goes through. There are so many gaps in terms of empowerment, especially on the women teachers, and that's why we came on board. One of the issues is that the issue of women empowerment financially, and you realize that there is a gap, and you realize that most of the households that we have are female-headed. So you will realize that majority of the teachers, the female teachers, are shouldering the burden of their family, and even others, the extended family. So we felt that this was affecting their productivity at the place of work. That is why we came up with that microfinance. Again, you will also realize that we have so many financial predators who everybody wants a piece of the teacher's pay slip, and we felt that they were charging even very exorbitant interest rates. So that's why we came in to fill that gap and allow our members to access loans at just 1.5 to 2%, so that they are able to put food on the table, they're able to take care of their families, they're able to improve their productivity at the place of work, and they are generally able to lead a quality life. That microfinance, you just apply for any loan via your phone. You don't have to make those, it is paperless. You don't have to move, you just apply via your phones. And I think it is also a game changer in the lives of the many of our members that we are having across the country.
Thank you so much for that detailed report, and I'm sure for those of you who did not understand about the loan and of course how it is given and how it is empowering teachers, you did get from that detailed report by Madam Wilkista Mwiruri. And of course, now I'd like us to just move a little bit from the Women Teachers Association and talk about the junior secondary school and what is happening as we speak. We have about more than 200,000 learners are yet to join grade 7, and we have 187 plus who are yet to join the Form 1. That is a total of about 300 and above students. Now, there is a mop-out exercise commissioned by the Ministry of Education that did happen a few days ago. From where you sit, where are these 200,000 learners, and will commissioning this bear any fruits?
Yes, I think the government is trying, but I'm feeling like there is something amiss. 3 weeks down the line, 3-4 weeks down the line, we are still talking of students who are not in school. We are still talking about teachers who are not enough. We are still talking about infrastructure that is not there. And I think there is something that is not adding up. And I think I'm actually starting to pity our grade 7 students, and I'm wondering why the hurry, why was there a rush? And I'm feeling like there was an oversight in terms of transition. I think we had two issues about our political transition and the change of curriculum. The two were ideally not supposed to be done at the same time. And I think that is why we are having all this problem. The former regime probably felt, or they had analyzed and felt that this education system was going to be expensive, it was not going to work, but they let it just happen because after all, they are not going to be answerable. Otherwise, you fail to understand at this time is when we are talking about teachers. We are still not, we are mapping at how many teachers we need. I think that is a very serious oversight, and we need to do a sit down and know whether is it worth continue with this CBC or we just revert back to 844. On the issue of the students who are cannot be accounted for, we are having several of them, and the biggest question is where are they? One, there is this issue about the JSS, the schools themselves. They're in primary school, but we know some are also not offering the junior secondary. There are some that were merged depending on availability of infrastructure and all that. Could that also have been an issue where we find that some students are finding it difficult to walk to long distances where the junior secondary, the junior school itself is located? We'll find 2-3 primary schools merged, but the distance that a student is supposed to cover would be long. Could that also be an issue that is contributing to the low to the low turnout? The other issue is where are some of these of our students? Where are they disappearing to? And for example, we have those areas that are facing budgetary. There are also parents that are facing challenges, even in raising financing. Could they have opted not to take their children to school and probably provide or have avenues for small economic ventures so that their students, these children can also contribute to the family upkeep? I think the commissioning is very, very important, but we also require proper data. When we talk about these 300,000 students are not there, from which counties are they coming from? Because in some counties, I hear there is almost 100% transition. An example of Nyeri. So where are these students coming from? Which counties or from which sub-counties? Then we start from there. Otherwise, we cannot talk about 300 students and we have not done proper mapping. If it is in Tana River, then we go there and look at what are the issues that are contributing to this, so that the government contribute or give us proper data, proper mechanism, let them have proper resources or even personnel in those particular areas so that we're able to marshal support and have every other student going to school. Otherwise, I believe the commission, whatever was commissioned it will be a success. I don't believe the government can fail. And I think we do a rallying call also to our parents. Let them take their children to school, their children, for heaven's sake. Let them at least learn. Let them not engage them elsewhere. And even those students themselves, probably who could be orphaned, they don't have anybody to take care of them. Let the society take responsibility and have everybody going to school. Otherwise, there is a positivity, but let's use data so that we can solve that problem. If we are having 100% transition, let's not focus on Nyeri. Let's go to Tana River or Busia or wherever it is and probably try to identify what these issues be and address them. But the most important thing, let us have all our children in school regardless.
Thank you, Madam. And of course, I love the way you did outline the challenges that are there. You did talk about the reasons that can be attributed to the learners failing to join the schools, and transitioning would be attributed to the safety purposes, and of course, those areas that are facing the safety problems. And of course, we have also the cost of living. And now bringing in, we also have the drought situation that, of course, where there are hunger-stricken counties that children and learners are not able to join schools because of this as well. And we have public schools late or delayed allocation, of course, the delayed allocation of teachers to the schools that they're supposed to be teaching. There are many issues that can be attributed to this. Now, you did talk about the numbers that are needed. I would like you to tell us what is the reality answer for this mop out. And the government promised 100% transition. With the current deficit, where is the bridge and how will the government bridge that?
As I'm saying, one, the government is having the data. Where are these students? If, for example, there is that exam of KPSEA, the grade 6 that they did, that already should give us a data and know exactly where are these students who have not reported to school, from which sub-county. Then from there, now we come down. We have the sub-county director of education, we have the CID, we have the police, we have the chiefs, we have the parents themselves, and all that. Now we go to the ground and try to identify. This school of yours, there are 60 students, for example, in school A that did KPSEA. Have they all transitioned to grade 7? If there are those that are missing, now we start tracking from there. It can be easier that way. If there are those probably who transferred to other schools and all that, did they actually transfer? We have that NEMIS, we have the NEMIS record that tracks the student. So if they did not go to the primary school where they did the KPSEA, where did they go to? Did they go to a neighboring school? Did they go to a private school? Where actually are they? I don't think it is a very big challenge trying to mop up all those students and getting them where they are. In case probably it is students themselves or the parents who are encouraging students not to go to school, the law of Kenya also applies. The children have their right. They have a right to education, and I think the parents should know that, because I know some parents could be a little bit bogged down by the issues of life challenges and all that. We have the issues of drought. We have the issues of banditry. Those areas that operations are taking on, where are those students? Are those students actually in school? And even are they also psychologically prepared and psychologically armed to even learn, or we are just having students?
If you can hold on to that point, because of course the time is coming to an end, and there's a lot to talk about in terms of course, the junior secondary and the challenges that they are facing, the challenges the teachers are facing as well. Maybe you can give us, maybe in a minute or less, your parting shot on all that we've spoken about and on the way forward.
One is that we want to rally behind the women teachers and the teachers in general. Let us embrace the digital literacy. I think it is a game changer. Going forward, you will see so many changes, and it will also lessen our workload, and it will make things easier even for our students. Number two, on the JSS, the government for real, it needs just to have its acts together. Otherwise, I think we are losing it. And if it is not tenable to have this program, let us revert back to 844 and we just continue. Why the hurry? We are really wasting those students. 3, 4, 5 weeks down the line, nothing much is happening. They have not even given the capitation. This is the time we are trying to see where we can even put those laboratories. Surely, I think there was something wrong with the planning and even the resources, disbursement of resources, and this will have an effect on our students, even these students psychologically. I think they could be affected, and they are also lost. The teachers are lost, the students are lost, everybody seems lost. I think we need proper guidelines of this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam, for joining us. And of course, this conversation will not have been the same without you. And I do hope to have you back here again, talk about the university and the proposition to have them privatized. Do make sure to come and join us. And I'm hoping there's a time that you'll be able to join us live. And that was Madam Wilkista Muiruri. And of course, that is an education analyst and of course, a teacher as well. And of course, do keep the comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. And tell us what are your thoughts on the same. Now, moving forward, the proposal by Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria to privatize some universities has been met with opposition from the various dons. Among them, former Chuka University Chancellor Professor Erastus Njoka, who has urged the government not to privatize universities as the country tries to fill the gap on workers. Speaking during Mount Kenya Education Fair held in Mwea, Professor Njoka said that privatizing university will be a way of collapsing the education system. Let's take a look.
We are grateful because of this great venture. A lot of money coming together for information.
Former Chuka University Chancellor Professor Erastus Njoka has urged the government not to privatize universities as the country tries to fill the gap on workers. Speaking during Mount Kenya Education Fair held in Mwea, where he was the chief guest, Professor Njoka said that privatizing universities will be a way of collapsing the education system. In addition, the former vice-chancellor urged parents not to force their children to repeat attaining low grade for university admission, saying technical courses offer skills that can enable on self-employment. Further pointing out that Kenya does not have enough workers for skilled labor and the gap needs to be filled, and that can only be done with so many skills from technical vocational training centers.
The technical institutions are very important because without them, we won't have workers. Technical institutions teach workers. I remember one time in Western Kenya, during the time of Nabongo Mumias, a bicycle got a bust, and there was nobody to repair. Only one man who had that knowledge. And the owner of the bicycle paint a home bull. He paint a home bull now is about 40,000. Imagine you paying 40,000 to repair a bicycle. That is what is happening. If we have very few technical people, we will have very expensive labor. But when we have very many of them, we will be able to do it.
Academic and non-academic staff of universities have dismissed the proposal by Trade Cabinet Secretary Moses Kuria to privatize public universities. Through the umbrella union, Universities Academic Staff Union and DONS have demanded that the government engage in dialogue with education professionals to find the best way forward. Beatrice Njeri, GBS News.
Remember to keep the conversation going at GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. And on that note, we'll take our first commercial break. We will be right back.
Welcome to Mahanaim International High School. Are you worried about the character of your child? Mahanaim is the best Christian and character building school and offer British National Curriculum, IGCSE O-Level and GCE A-Level, and mixed day and boarding school. For more inquiry, call 0710 111 333.
everywhere. GBS.
Welcome back. You're still watching GBS News at 9. And now moving forward with the bulletin, Siaya Governor James Orengo has challenged President William Ruto to be the #1 defender of the rule of law instead of being among those going against it. Orengo, who was speaking in Gem, Siaya County, after launching a water project, accused the head of state of going against the constitution by removing subsidies that cautioned Kenyans in these hard economic times. The governor, who is among the few governors that have joined Raila Odinga in public rallies to demand for change, and has urged the president to honor his oath and protect Kenyans against the hardships they are going through, especially high cost of living.
Violators of the rule of law are those in power. Nobody in Kenya is above the law, including the president of the Republic of Kenya. Whoever is the president of the Republic of Kenya is under the law, is under a duty to obey the law more than any other ordinary citizen. Nobody goes to Uhuru Park. No Mama Boga goes to Uhuru Park to hold the Bible and the Constitution and swear by the Constitution. It is the president who swears by the Constitution. So the president has no business at all in giving warnings to citizens about the rule of law. The rule of law works when leaders obey the law. And one of the things that the Constitution of Kenya says, that we must make the lives of our people better. We must make the lives of our people better. And also it says we must have Kenya built into a prosperous.
A section of Ukambani leaders drawn from Makueni County have condemned the Azimio la Umoja 14 days ultimatum. The leaders who met at Kasikeu Market, Kilome constituency, said that the community needs development, not demonstration, as it is being planned by Azimio leaders. On what was seen as telling Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka he is on his own for the demonstration, former Mboni Member of Parliament Michael Kisoi said that they as Makueni County leaders disassociate with the Azimio plans. Kisoi called upon the Azimio brigade to stop all these shenanigans and come on board and look for a working platforms with the Kenya Kwanza government. Former Kenyan ambassador in Tanzania Mutinda Mutiso, who lauded Kisoi's sentiments on Azimio ultimatum, said that the harsh economic situation in the country, Azimio should know Kenya Kwanza was working with the budget which was passed by the former regime. Azimio leader Raila Odinga has given the William Ruto-led administration a 14-day ultimatum to bring the cost of living down, failure to which the opposition outfit will lead a mass action to force governance out of office.
Firstly, to make a resolution that as a community from Makueni County, unreservedly, we support the government of His Excellency President William Samoei Ruto. And we categorically want to state that we recognize the constitutionally elected position of His Excellency the President William Ruto as the President of the Republic of Kenya. All these other shenanigans by Raila team and the Azimio team that President William Ruto is legitimately elected are of no basis legally. It has no support from the community, and us as Makueni leaders, completely we want to disassociate ourselves with that kind of thinking. And we want to call upon other leaders from Ukambani region to smell the rat and realize that the Kamba community is recognizing the government of President William Ruto, and that they should join hands with them, support the government for the development of our people, and then move on and help William Samoei Ruto deliver the promises he meant to the people of Makueni County and to the people of
na ultimatums ama siku 14 kutafanyika hivi. Wakati huu ni wakati mgumu kwa watu wote wa Kenya. Duniani kote mnajua kuna vita kule Ukraini, kuna shida pia kule Europa, na hali ya uchumi duniani si nzuri sana. Lakini hivyo lisemwe, tupe serikali ya Rais Ruto nafasi iweze kutekeleza kazi yake.
Watoto wetu wako nyumbani kukosa karo. na wao wanaambiwa wasijaribu kanyanga kwenye serikali, waombe watu yao maendeleo. Kwa hivyo naomba watu wetu wa Makueni na Ukambani yote, ile kitu tunaweza fanyia viongozi wetu wale tumewachagua, ni sisi sote tuingie tuunge mkono rais wetu Samuel Ruto, na sisi sote tujisajili kwa chama ya UDA ndio tuweze kupata maendeleo. Na tunaambia serikali hivi, wasijaribu waache kupiga kutupani sisi watu wa Ukambani.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, will on Tuesday destroy a stockpile of sandalwood at its headquarters, following a destruction order issued by the Chief Magistrate sitting at the Kahawa Law Courts on February 8, 2023, for the destruction of 13.5 tons of the endangered sandalwood seized by the detectives in various operations. Let's take a look.
The Directorate of Criminal Investigations has indicated that it will be destroying sandalwood, an exercise that will take place at the DCI headquarters. This follows a destruction order issued by the Chief Magistrate sitting at the Kahawa Law Courts on February 8, 2023 for the destruction of 13.5 tons of the endangered sandalwood seized by the detectives in various operations. Trading in the plant is prohibited and outlawed in Kenya, and anyone who is found practicing otherwise face prosecution and jail term not less than 8 years. Sandalwood is heavy, fine-grained aromatic wood where its oil content is extracted to manufacture perfumes. Unlike many other aromatic woods, they retain their aromatic fragrance for decades. Sandalwood oil is extracted from the woods to produce traditional medicine and cosmetics. It contains more than 90% sesquiterpene alcohols, of which 50 to 60% is the tricyclic alpha santalal. Beta santalal comprises of 20 to 25%. The composition of the oil will depend on the species, region grown, age of tree, and possibility the season of harvest, and details of the extraction process used. In 2006, there was an increased over-exploitation of sandalwood in the country, according to the Convention on Traditional Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, which lists the tree as threatened, hence its ban in 2007. It is also on the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species. The global sandalwood oil market was valued at $97.1 million in 2019 and is expected to reach $196.7 million by the end of 2026, growing at a compound annual growth rate of 10.5% during 2021-2026. Recently, Kenya banned the uprooting and export of baobab trees from coastal Kilifi County following a public outcry over the increased felling of the unique species. Reporting for GBS News, I am James Odhiambo.
And now, away from that, moving to international news, Nigerian presidential candidate Peter Obi has gotten the most votes in the commercial hub of Lagos State, which houses Africa's biggest city. Obi of the Labour Party got 582,454 votes, just ahead of former Lagos Governor Bola Tinubu, who got 572,602 votes, and coming from the Progressive Congress Party. Electoral Commission data showed on Monday, Lagos was previously Tinubu's main stronghold. Here are the details.
Peter Obi campaign attracted young and urban voters fed up with corrupt traditional politics. It called on voters to reject the two parties that have run Africa's most populous nation for a quarter of a century. Nearly 90 million were eligible to vote in the election to choose a successor to President Muhammad Buhari, with many hoping for a new leader to tackle insecurity, economic malice, and widening poverty.
Total valid votes 1271451. 1271451. Rejected votes 64278. 64278. Total votes cast 1335729. 1335729. Thank you very much.
Voting on Saturday was mostly peaceful, but there was some incident of some polling stations being ransacked. Many others opened very late in Lagos and other cities. Voters stayed overnight to watch over the initial count at the polling stations. Voting continues in some part of the country on Sunday. Final tallies for the presidential race could take days. Votes are tallied by hand at a local polling station, and results are uploaded online to INEC's central database IREV, which is meant to improve transparency. Electoral officials count ballots in front of parties' agents and observers at a polling station.
You can tell that Nigerians are demanding for a change, and a change is imminent, whichever way. We thank God, we thank all our supporters. We are grateful.
By Monday morning, results from about 52,000 centers had been submitted to the platform from about 176,000 polling centers nationwide, approximately 30% of the total vote. Lena Lunjok reporting for GBS News.
And now to other news. China accused the United States of endangering peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait after U.S. military plane flew through the sensitive waterway on Monday, with the U.S. Navy responding that it had been international airspace. The tensions between the two superpowers nations have risen up again, and President Xi Jinping of Chinese people has declared to use all means possible in order to protect our sovereignty and Taiwan Island as well. Lena with the full report.
Beijing has been incensed by U.S. military mission through the narrow strait, most frequently of warship, but occasionally of aircraft, saying China has sovereignty, sovereign right and jurisdiction over the waterways. Taiwan and the United States dispute that, saying it is an international waterway. The Eastern Theater Command of Chinese People Liberation Army said its forces closely monitored the P-8A Poseidon Maritime Patrol and Reconnaissance plane, which is also used for anti-submarine mission, as it flew through the strait which separates China from Taiwan. The U.S. Navy 7th Fleet said the aircraft had flown in it did not elaborate. Taiwan's government said only the island people can decide their future, and it will not give in to threats.
中方密切关注并全程掌握美国军舰过航台湾海峡的。
Washington is Taiwan's most important international backer and a seller of army despite the absence of formal diplomatic ties, and U.S. support for the island is a constant irritant in Sino-U.S. relations. International airspace, and that the United States will continue to fly, sail, and operate anywhere international law allows, including within the Taiwan Strait. Lena Lunjok, GBS News.
Thank you, Lino, for that detailed report, and that ushers us to our sports news. Yes, for the lovers of sports, we have come to your most anticipated parts of the news. Let's get sporty. The Kenya Karate Federation is tracking the development made by the World Karate Federation to introduce uniforms with digital devices to capture points scored by athletes, with the Western Open held in Kakamega to select a team that will participate in the Kenya Open in preparation to represent the country during a youth championship in Egypt later this year. Here are the details.
The Kenya Karate Federation is tracking the development made by the World Karate Federation to introduce karate uniforms that have digital devices to capture points automatically scored by the athletes. Speaking in Kakamega during the Western Kenya Open, Secretary General of the Federation Gabriel Mutuku saying the Federation is yet to send some officials to learn about the system outside the country, where a pilot has been done prior to introduce the same in Kenya later this year. Is saying that the world karate system is changing and Kenya is following closely to adhere to the international standards that will put the country ahead in the sport and prepare players to match those at international scenes.
The world karate system is changing. They are introducing this year, they are introducing clothing whereby when you score a point, it records itself. not the normal uniform that you see being used. WKF, the World Karate Federation, has done it already this year. Actually, the pilot games have been done out there. We are waiting for our officials to be taken out there and learn more about the systems, while we also pursue our government to purchase such uniforms. So there's a lot new things that are coming up, and we need to be very well prepared to adapt these changes.
Mutuko saying in compliance with the Kenya Kwanza government, the sport will be organized in leagues, with karate moving from common championship to leagues.
It's good to see that the counties are taking over from hosting the normal championships to leagues. The government want to see the leagues everywhere, and these leagues will be arranged in a point form so that when you select a national member, team member, that's when you accumulate enough points for you to be there. So we are adapting that system so that we have players who are very much experienced, because the leagues will be very regular in every country. And I want to take this opportunity to thank Western, Nairobi. We are seeing this happening in Rift Valley region. They are taking over.
Speaking on the same, Regional Secretary General Christopher Ouma saying they have realized that it is through leagues that players are nurtured to be very competitive.
Tujakuwa na league, tumekuwa tukicheza tu open championship kama intercounties, but now we want to come with another proposal yenye imekuja sasa hii. WKF wametoa ya kucheza leagues, kwa sababu league inapata wachezaji wanapata ile opportunity kucheza kila mara. Hizi championship inachukua muda to organize, but league utapata after 2 months we have a tournament, after 2 months tunacheza league, so players at least wanakuwa na hiyo uzoefu ya kucheza.
Once introduced, Western Kenya will be the third region to play karate through leagues after Nairobi and Rift Valley, which are already participating in leagues. The Western Open was open to select a team that will participate at the Kenya Open in preparation to represent the country during a youth championship in Egypt later this year. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm McDonald.
Second place, Nzoia Sugar went on a barren draw with 14th place Talanta at Kasarani Annex on Saturday, as Benson Omala scored the winning goal at 8th minute time to beat Police 2-1. On the other hand, the Bankers lost to AFC Leopards yesterday at a 1-0 at Moi Sports Kasarani Stadium. Let's take a look.
Rumaya knocked Police 2-1 at Kasarani on Saturday, with the league leaders displaying an outstanding performance. Elvis Rupia opened the scores for Kenya Police after making a counter-attack on the 11th minute before defender Dennis Nganga restoring the parity for Kogalo 8 minutes later. The match went on a 1-1 draw on the first half, and fans had to wait until the 82nd minute when top scorer Benson Omala scored his 16th goal on the league. Omala's goal sealed the win for Kogalo, who stand at the league top with 37 points, while Police stand at the 6th place with 28 points. KCB lost to on-form AFC Leopards on a 1-0 at Moi Sports Kasarani yesterday, as they both sought to secure the 3 points to assure them a place as title contenders. On the other end, Nzoia Sugar went on a barren draw with FC Talanta at Kasarani Annex on Saturday, with both sides missing a couple of chances on the opponent box. Nzoia stand at the 2nd place with 33 points after playing 17 matches, while Talanta stand at the 14th place with 14 points in 16 matches. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm McDonald.
Oliver Skip and Harry Kane goals over Chelsea extend Potter's miserable run at Stamford Bridge as City crushed Bournemouth 4-1. On the other hand, Manchester United quenched their 6 years drought as they crushed Newcastle 2-0 at Wembley yesterday to take home the Carabao Cup. McDonald with the full report.
Manchester United quenched their 6 years dust of the trophy as they crushed Newcastle 2-0 on the Carabao finals yesterday at Wembley Stadium. Newcastle started over a better side, yet found themselves trailing 2 goals of the first half. Casemiro ended the opener from a free kick before Botman on goal after Marcus Rashford's strike, doubling the advantage. Newcastle last won a trophy in 1955 and their wait goes on. Spurs won 2-0 over Chelsea in the Premier League with Oliver Skip and Harry Kane goals on the second half, keeping Spurs in the hunt of a top 4 finish and extending the Blues' miserable run under Graham Potter. City crushed Bournemouth 4-1 after earlier recording draws against Nottingham Forest and RB Leipzig. Erling Haaland scored his 27th goal this season to close his lean spell of 1 goal in 6 matches. City stand at the second place with 55 points, 6 points above third place Manchester United. Arsenal and a narrow win over 1-0 over Leicester City. It was a hand-fought victory for Arsenal. Gabriel Martinelli goal on the first minute of the second half put Arsenal ahead on the entire game. Arsenal are on top of the league with 57 points, while Leicester City stand at the 14th place with 24 points. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm McDonald.
Thank you, McDonald, for that detailed report. And that marks the end of our news segment tonight. And of course, do remember to keep the conversation going through our SMS line to the 144 and GBS TV Africa in all our social media handles. And to everyone who made this a success, a very big thank you to you. And of course, thank you for joining this live broadcast. And do remember, here at GBS News at 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Maureen Chabet. Good night.